Welcome, 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 everyone. Guess what? It is another Thursday. Yes, it is another Thursday night. Champs is over, Grand Slam is over. So, we're a little bit back to normal. But of course, the season is not over as yet. But welcome each and everyone, wherever you are joining us from, whether you're coming from Europe, from Africa, Antarctica, Oceanic. North America, South America, all seven continents. Welcome, welcome. And already we have some people on the live here. Davian Clark is there. Olympian Davian Clark is there waiting for us. Monica Lewis is also there. Of course, she said Jago is the place. Andrea Bliss also out of St. Jago. And of course, we have Bonnie M, 1972 Olympian in the building. Guys, welcome. Tonight, of course, we're going to be talking to another of Jamaica's track and field darling, one of my favorite. Of course, I have a lot of favorites, and this person is on that list. And, we will be talking tonight about her story just to learn a little bit about her journey in the sport, the challenges and everything that she had to overcome. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And I just want to say a special hello to Josiah, my youngest viewer or listener or fan out there in New Jersey. So Josiah, welcome. Welcome each and everyone. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back with my guest and welcome each and everyone.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple, to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one legacy. Get up on, no, don't.
And we are back. Yes, we are back. Look at this face, guys. Look at this smile. One of my favorite, as I said, none other than the outstanding, the brilliant Kerron Stewart. And of course, tonight Kerron is going to let us in her life a little bit as it relates to her journey, the challenges that she faced, whether she faced, I don't think she faced any challenges, but of course she's
No.
going to tell us that. And welcome each and everyone. If you want me to see your comments, guys, remember you have to join us on YouTube. Monica Lewis, welcome. The first to be in the building. Bonnie M, 1972 Olympian. Each and everyone, welcome. Kerron Stewart, how are you? Welcome.
I am doing well. Good night. Good night.
I'm glad that you were able to take some time out of your busy schedule to stop by to have a chat with us and, just to tell us a little bit about your experience in the sport of track and field. And guys, I don't say this very much because I keep forgetting once I get caught up with my guests, I forget to say, please to like, share, and subscribe. Please to share the content. I don't say that enough. I forget about it once I'm in the conversation. But I'm back with Kerron Stewart, Olympian Kerron Stewart from Kingston to St. Catherine to the United States. She's here tonight. What they call it, Karen? The Tigers?
The who?
The Tigers?
Oh yes, Auburn Tigers. Yeah.
Oh, Auburn Tigers. But before
Or
we
War Eagle.
get there, Karen, just tell me a little bit. I like to break the ice. I like to do icebreaker by asking,
Oh boy.
tell me a little bit about where you're from, where in Jamaica you're from, where you used to run around as a child in your, I don't think you wear nappies, so it would be diapers. But tell me about your early days.
I'm a 80s baby, so Nafi definitely. Nafi, so um, born and raised in Kingston. I think if memory serves right, when I was 4 years old, I went to live with my grandmother in St. Elizabeth. So I spent a bit of my years with my grandmother. And then I think when I was 12, I moved back to Kingston with my mom. And then I started going to John Mills all age. And that's when the whole love for track and field developed. But what sparked that interest was the 1996 Olympics.
Woo-hoo.
Before that, I had no idea about athletics, about running. I thought that was just a fun things that kids do at that age, just run and play around. Or once a year you have sports day. I didn't know that track and field went beyond went beyond that.
Karen, 96, you were only 2. What were you doing watching the
No,
Olympic Games?
not 96. I was way older than that.
I
I
know,
was
right?
about 12 or 11. I think 12.
So you were almost in high school. But tell me a little bit about your journey at the John Mills. How were you discovered?
So the first day of school, the admissions, I was going through that process, and the lady said, "What sport do you play?" And out of nowhere, I just shouted netball, and she was like, "Okay," and she was like, "I'm gonna let you try out for the track team," and I was like, "Fine," and I went, I tried out, and I blew away everybody who was training, and the coach was impressed. I was shocked. And then there was no turning back. I never looked back since then.
Oh, wow. Wow. So netball. So where did you ever play netball any at all? Or that was the first sport to pop into your mind?
It was just the first word to pop into my mind. But I loved the sport, so I played every sport. I mean, I remember my grandmother used to be like, "You need to come inside." I would play any sport that was playing. Like now, kids they don't get to enjoy playing outside.
Outdoors.
Everything is
Yes.
now inside. I remember I lose so many nails just by running barefoot, playing around, having fun, enjoy my childhood. So I was a fan of every sport, and I still am a big fan of just every sport.
Wow, awesome. Awesome. You hear that, guys? Welcome, Jar, another outstanding one from St. Jago is in the building. St. Jago is here tonight. I wonder why St. Jago is out in the numbers tonight. Margaret Bell, welcome, welcome. She said good night also. But going back to Karen, before you I know that it's been ages and stuff, but can you recall before you get to St. Jago, were schools like coming at you? Back in those days, we used to say bye. Now we're using the sophisticated word scholarship. Did you have schools coming at you while you were at
Um,
Glen Mills I'm saying Glen Mills, I mean John Mills. Were schools coming at you wanting you
um,
to attend their school?
yes, there were schools because when a lot of people don't know this, but when I was at John Mills, I made the Carifta team, but they didn't bring me. I came second in the 100, I came second in the 200, and I was not selected for the team. So even when I was at John Mills, I used to do the weird combination. I ran the 100 and the 400. So at 13, I think, or 13, I ran 56 in the 400. So I broke a 18-year-old record. So a record that was older than me. I broke that record at primary school champs, and I think that record is still there. I could be wrong. So I ran. Never forget it. I ran 56 2 in the 400, and made the character team and they didn't bring me. But I think every Jamaican have an experience like that. So
Oh yes, yes, and
yeah.
that's what I was just about to say, that I think every Jamaican athlete have an experience like that where they make a team and they weren't selected. But let me ask you, were you given any explanation why you weren't selected?
Yes. So they could have still bring me even just to run the relays since I came second.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an athlete who didn't compete, right? But downright, honestly, I would have taken that person over me as well because they were way, 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 way faster, doing better than I was. But they were hurt at the time for the curve to trials, so they didn't compete at the trials. But they had the medical exempt for the Carifta games. But hands down, I would have taken that person too because they went on to just kill the Carifta game. So
Wow.
no hard feelings at all. But to the 13-year-old Kerron, I was crushed, but I never miss another Carifta team because of that. I was like, I'm gonna make sure that I win, so there is no doubt about taking me. And I have stick to that promise that I made myself, and I made every career of the team since then.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, let me ask you though. I'm not sure if you remember, but do you remember which athlete finished ahead of you at the trials? Do you
Um,
remember who that was?
Nadine Palmer.
Oh, Nadine Palmer,
Yeah,
another
Nadine
outstanding.
was the athlete then. Yeah,
Yes,
she was pretty good.
awesome, awesome, indeed. But let me ask you, with all the schools that were coming at you, why did you choose St. Jago?
Wow. I don't even know why I there was something special about San Diego.
Don't do
I
that, Karen.
the legacy that
Yeah.
was it was really the legacy that San Diego had, and it was a consistent legacy. Like after high school, they were doing things. After high school, they go to college. After college, they had a professional career, and that's what I wanted. And I felt like San Diego could be the bridge or the pathway to help me to get to that. And I would make that decision all over again in the next life. I would still go to San Diego. So best decision. And
Wow.
I didn't make that decision either. My mom made that decision because we felt the same way, and she made that decision.
Awesome, awesome. No, no regrets, right?
Absolutely no.
Absolutely no regrets. Of course, your the St. Jago alumni is in the chat, agreeing with you. Of course, JJR have to put her 2 cents in because she too shares the same sentiment that nowhere like Monk Street.
Uh-uh,
Yeah,
uh-uh.
nowhere like Monk Street. But Karen, um, how did the move from, okay, you're coming from John Mills, which is a lower school, now you're going into secondary education. How did you adjust from Kingston to St. Catherine? What was the adjustment like?
Um, well, if you know John Mills, you know, like if it's you have to be tough to go to that school as well. Like
Yeah.
it build you. You get street smart going there. Um, I think the adjustment for me moving from John Mills to San Diego was mostly the training because there was talent all around me. Like, yes, when I was at John Mills, yes, I was the best sprinter, but hey, when I hit San Diego, it's like, hey, you ain't the most talented person anymore. So I had to work, and the work was different. Like, it was hard. I struggled. Honestly, I really struggled, but I knew how to compete. So when you see me train, you probably wouldn't put me on the team until you saw me compete. So even Mr. Graham at first, he was like, "No, you're not on the relay team." Until I ran, and then he was like, "Okay, you're definitely on the team." So honestly, the training was hard, but the women there, they were serious. They were serious about track. They were serious about getting better. And it was like, listen, you have to fall in line or somebody's gonna take your spot. Like there, you ain't talented. You ain't more talented than anybody else, right? I had superstars on the team, so but it was good, but it was definitely hard.
I can just imagine. Can you remember some of your teammates, some of the people that even though they were your teammates, they were like your rivals? Can you remember some of those people from St. Jago?
Um, Absolutely. Like you have people like Kashin, Malane, um, even Giovanni, Andrea Bliss, and I used to train with like Malane, Andrea Bliss, and
But
Kashin.
they're hurdlers.
Yeah, but I'm still training, and not even hurdlers. They were quarter milers, and I'm young coming in, so I was in the back every day. I'm just in the back, Mr. Graham, just yelling at me, and I'm like, Coach, seriously, I'm trying my best. Like these girls are just different. So it took me a while to adjust to the training, but these ladies used to hand it to me in practice.
Wow, I love these stories, and this is why I do this because I love to hear the backstories. St. Jago is the number two schools with the most female Olympians and also the most overall Olympian, number two on the list. How proud are you? You said it before, but now that you're hearing this data that St. Jago is actually number two on the list for women and number two overall. How proud are you that St. Jago is your alma mater?
I am very proud, and you have to experience it. It's something that is instilled in us when you go to San Diego. Um, we it was instilled in us every day that we are number one. Excellence is required. Greatness is in you. So when you go to San Diego, it's like you have to live up to that because it is ingrained in you every single day. And we had great examples. Like we had examples around us. Like we've seen the San Diego students be successful in Jamaica, in the world. Anywhere you go, you could find a San Diego past student that is successful. So that success has always been around us. So we had something to look up to.
What was your champs career like? How often did you make the team for? I know that St. Jago is one of the most competitive teams to make, especially back then. But how often were you able to make the champs team, one of the biggest team in Jamaica?
Every year, I was a part of the team every year. Like I had teammates who held me accountable. They held me accountable, and when you are around people who are doing the right things and they're making good decisions, you kind of fall in line with that. So that's why it's so important to have good people around you. So I was a part of every champs team at St. Jago. I competed every year at champs for St. Jago since I've been at St. Jago. But still didn't manage to win a title. As soon as I came to St. Jago, like we just stopped winning. And in I think 2002, we lost by 1 point, and I'm like, oh God, that was painful because I was like that was our year to win, but we didn't. But the San Diego legacy is still so deep and still so important. So
I
I,
think that title, I think you guys were denied by, was it Manchester? I think it was Manchester.
no,
Or if it wasn't Manchester, I think
Homewood.
it was home
Home-
first title. Yes,
yeah.
it was Homewood's first, winning their first title, of course. And this is just amazing to hear you talk about your junior years like this. Of course, 2002 in Kingston, Jamaica hosted the World Junior Games, and let me tell you, I was there every day, and you guys put on a show. But tell me about you on that 4x1 team, that one goal in front of the home crowd. We were going crazy. You were on the back. What was going through your mind when Sharon Simpson was coming to you with that baton?
crazy enough, like I didn't realize that she had false started. I I did
You
not
did?
realize. No, I did not. It's like after the race, like I heard people talking about it, and I was like, yo, I had no idea she false started
But
because
we won the gold.
no. In it remember at that time, like one false start didn't get you out the race.
Oh, yes, that's
So
true. Yeah.
the first she false started, and then they settled down, and then
No.
they went again. But yeah, I got that stick, and I was like, we have to win this. We have to win this relay. We are in front of home crowd. Like I don't know when I'm gonna ever get to experience this again. So when I get that stick, like anytime I get that stick in my hand, is always I need to hand this off first. I need to put my team in a good position so we can win. So that was the only thing that was going through my mind. Like I have to get this stick, and they had a little ground on us too, and I was like, I have to make up this ground. Like
And you
that's
did.
all I was thinking.
You certainly did. And of course, you dropped the baton in safe hands because Anisha McCloughin
Yep.
was waiting in the curve and she destroyed everything in the curve.
Yes.
Of course,
She
Simone Phillips,
any turn she will destroy.
that
She
was
will
a super
destroy.
team though. Sharon to you, to Anisha, to Simone Facey. It was over. That's a super team.
Even like leading up to that, like it was like a toss up between who is gonna run because a month before I twisted my ankle, just a freak accident in practice. Running across the finishing line, twist my ankle. So I was out for a long time. So even me making it to World Juniors to run the individual race and then run on the relay was a mere, just pure miracle and the work of God to be honest. So
Indeed.
they had camps, and Sharon and we had to do a runoff, and I end up winning. So I got to run the 100 at World Juniors and run the relays and also run the 4x4, but I couldn't run the finals of the 4x4 because by then I was in so much pain. And I was like, if I am not healthy, I don't want to jeopardize the team. So somebody else who is healthy can run.
Very mature. How mature? Oh, you're mature, so wow. But but that same World Junior Championship, Usain Bolt was also a part of that team. We had a super team at home. How did you, when you saw that Usain won that 200-meter, destroying that field, what was going on in the camp when you guys heard or saw that Usain won gold? Of course, the stadium went into a frenzy.
I think it didn't matter where you were in the world, you could hear that stadium just going absolutely crazy. We know like this kid was talented, but we didn't knew well I let me say I didn't know that okay he had that in him yet, but we all saw the talent and know that once this kid gets serious and start training, he is going to be so dangerous. But it was just a crazy moment. And he is just a vibes person. So him saluting the crowd and all of that stuff, it was just crazy. Like you had to be there. Like
I
that
totally agree.
experience is next to none. And not just us. I want to highlight this. In that World Juniors, there were so many Olympian or future Olympians in
Yes.
that world champion in that
Hmm.
world winners. You have myself, Usain, Marsha Hooker, Alyssa Felix. I mean, the
Tanya
list
Richards.
Washington Demos, Sonia Richards. I
Mhm.
mean, that crop of Olympians, like, oh my goodness, like that group, like we all went on to just do some crazy things at the higher level. But Darrell Brown, like there was,
Mhm.
can you imagine how we didn't even thought of it that way, but there were gonna be so many future Olympians in that World Juniors
Indeed.
is mind blowing.
It's amazing that you point that out. And I'm a person like this. I love data. And that you just pointed out, I did not even think about it. But you're right. A lot of Olympic stars came out of that 2002
Listen, so
championship, not just for Jamaica, but other
other
countries.
countries, other countries. Even the young lady from Sweden, the heptathlon athlete, she went on to be unbeatable in the Olympics for so
Mhm.
many years in the
Yes.
heptathlon. So many. Brashawn Jackson, like I am missing Lauren Williams. Like it goes on. Sharon, it
I
goes on.
think Wally Spearman was also a part of that World Juniors. I think he was in the 200, if my memory serves me correctly.
Can't remember
Yeah.
him, but
But
I
you're
mean
right. You are right.
that is something that you definitely should go back and look at, because if I could be wrong, but over 30 Olympians were probably at the World Juniors. Even the young lady from China that won the shot put, yeah, it would be mind blowing to see how many Olympians came from that World Juniors.
Indeed, indeed. You just put an idea in my head, but you're right. Just by naming them on the top of your head, a lot of Olympians. At the Grand Slam last weekend, Veronica Campbell Brown was there, and someone asked her the question, which era has she thinks produced some of the best Olympians. And of course, Veronica, who is a millennial, she said, I'm going to be biased because I think millennial, and she also said, every generation have produced outstanding Olympians. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Because Merlene Ottey, Grace Jackson, Juliet Campbell, Juliet
Oxford,
Cuthbert, like that year from 1988, 84, all the way up to
Bert Cameron, Dorothy Scott,
Merlene
Dean,
Ottey really took it up to
Ethelyn
2000.
Tate,
Yeah. So,
so many of them. Jackie Pusey, Miss Vilma Charlton, Herb McKinley, Arthur
so,
Wynn.
so much.
So many of them. But let me ask you, Karen, from say Jago to Auburn, well, to Essex to Auburn.
Essex to Auburn.
Right. Why Auburn though? I'm curious. I love to ask this question.
Why Auburn? So Texas A&M was really one of my top schools. So it was Texas, LSU, um, Texas A&M, Auburn, and South Carolina, and it was a hard decision to make because I really love Coach Pat Henry so much, and Coach Anderson. Like even when I chose Auburn, like we still had a good relationship because I had so much respect for those coaches. But I remember one night Coach Henry, he called, and he said two things, and I was like, that's it, that's where I'm going. Right, and I don't even know why he said that, but he just said that. He was like, I will never choose an institution over my athletes, and that was it. So I know going to Auburn, I would be safe, meaning that I wouldn't be overworked. He would be patient with my progression, and he would understand that I have a future after Auburn. And that was why I went to Auburn, because I did not like where Auburn was. It's in the kind of the middle of nowhere, coming from the city Essex, coming from Kingston. So I was like, yeah, the closest big city was Atlanta, and I'm like, I'm going to the bush. But it was one of the best decisions I've made, and I made that decision. It wasn't my parents anymore. I remember I called my mom, and I was like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do, and I was hoping that she would make a decision for me, and she was like, nope. You have to live there. You have to make this decision. I was like, you've been making decisions all my life. Why not make this one too? But it was one of the best decisions
How
of my
was it settling there? I mean, a new place, you're no longer at home where you can run to mom. What was it like settling down with your training, your
tough
studies, the new environment?
tough. Can't lie. It took me a while to adjust. Um, St. Jago is a small school. Essex is a small school. It dropped me on Auburn campus, right? It was just huge. I was in a class size of 200 kids. Like
Wow.
that's a lot. And knowing I like a small group, I'm quiet, so I'm in that class. Teacher don't even know who I am because there are so much kids and I'm quiet. So it was an adjustment. It really was an adjustment. The training was an adjustment for me as well. Um, because when I got there, you had girls who was already into the program. They were older, so I was just struggling all around. I was struggling, and I was like, you know what? Every new environment takes adjustment.
Hmm.
I like to feel comfortable, and being at Auburn, it was really stretching that comfort for me because the bigger crowd, the bigger team, everything. It was just a challenge on every side because now I didn't have to talk so much, but now I go to class and I have to talk, I have to present, I have to do all of this. So it's like, okay, now I'm growing up, I'm becoming an adult. So it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't. It takes some adjustment.
In college, you accomplished a lot, which I will share in a little bit. I will share your business a little bit, how much you've accomplished. But tell me about your favorite moment competing for Auburn. Did you run into any Jamaicans? Meaning, was the Jamaicans your main rivals on the NC circuit?
Um, Yeah, there was a lot of Jamaicans. That was my rival. So even my best friend ended up becoming my rival because she was at Texas, I was at Auburn, and Texas and Auburn was vying for the national title. So I remember Melaine got DQ in the hurdles, and I didn't. I was supposed to win the 100. I didn't win the 100 because of a false start. I came second in the 100, second in the 200, and then she got DQ. So we won, and we didn't even have to run the 4x4, and that was a complete surprise because there was nowhere on this planet that somebody could have told us 3 months out that we would have won the NCAA title with six women. Like, absolutely not.
That's the
Like,
part I don't
we
get.
weren't
You
even
can
thinking about that.
you can win NCs with the smallest team. I
Smallest,
don't get it.
smallest team,
I
smallest.
don't get it.
You just gotta win those events. Win first and second, third and second, and
How
that's
did
it.
champs? How did the training at high school prepare you for the NCs training and competition?
So training at Essex prepared me for Auburn because if I thought St. Jago training was hard,
Ooh.
Essex training was double. Because one, we had a coach who didn't mince his words. He was a tough love type of guy. It would track and field is mental, so you got to get with it, or he's not having it. Plus, I we were training on a basketball court. So a basketball court is very small. So there were some near misses, um, close calls to almost running into the stairs. Um, so and again, when you check Essex County record or track record for producing Olympians, they produce a whole lot of Olympians as well. So Essex training definitely prepare me. It going to that school prepare me for life on a whole, because
Wow.
coming out of San Diego, oh, you hit now, as you said, I hit life. Like there was no mommy do this for me or ask mommy for this or no, it was no, hey, whoop, you're an adult, figure things out. You're on your own, can't go home. You're here. So Essex definitely prepared me for life.
Let's talk a little bit about college, and you're already segueing into it. My next question to you, and you've started it, is how did college prepare? How much of college would you give credit to for the professional success that you've had in track and field?
A lot. I would say 90%
Wow.
of it, because I had time to deal with the pressure to figure out things, because competing at the NCA, there is a lot of Olympians who come through the NCA system. So I was competing already with a lot of Olympians, or people who would go on to be future Olympians. So NCA really prepared me and get me ready for, it was almost like a dress rehearsal for the bigger stage. So it helped. I know a lot of kids bypass that route, but if I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing. I would go that route, because staying in Jamaica, my mom couldn't pay for college, and if I wanted to go to college at that time, I felt like that was the best route for me. And honestly, I was more banking on academics than track and field, because I honestly didn't know that I would have the career and the future that I had in track and field. I didn't start believing it until like my last year in college. Like my coach always believed it, but I just didn't think I was that good yet until like my last year in college. So I was always banking on academics. I have to go to college. So I took that route, and I would recommend it. I would just say be careful with which school you choose, the coach that you choose, and just the environment. But I would encourage kids to go to college.
Karan, you just said something, and I am going to agree with you totally when you said going to college and the NCs is like a dress rehearsal for the big stage. And I have done I like data, as I said before. I don't speak on emotions, I use data. And when I look at our medalists, three-quarters, if not more, of our medalists at the World Championship and the Olympic level
Mhm.
all have gone through a collegiate system. From those from back in 1948 all the way up, a lot of them have gone through. When you look at the Herb McKinley, when you look at Bert Cameron, when you look at Merlene, Juliet, when you look at you, Veronica Campbell Brown, Sharon, Shelley, when you look at most of our athletes who have competed at the highest level, even those before, the Dorothy Scott, the Lily Hodges, the Jackie Pusey, Grace Jackson, all of them have
So
gone
yeah,
through.
we went to college.
Elaine, Sharika, the majority have gone through a collegiate system, even if it's for a year, 2 years. But I personally think that the collegiate system, whether you stay at home or abroad, I
Mhm.
think it helps to
It
push
helps
you,
mature
it
you.
helps to prepare you and help you to become mature. Because as you rightfully said, a lot of the people that you would have competed with on the NC stage, you would have seen them again at the World Championship. You would have seen them at the Olympic Games.
Because there are so many skills. You learn. There's so many life skills you learn in college, right? You learn time management. You learn that okay, you got to get things done. Nobody is waiting on you. If you don't turn in your assignments, you will fail, right? There's a lot of things that you learn. I even had to learn how to budget, because when you get that scholarship check, if you want to spend it off in one go, then you're gonna be hungry. So I had to learn how to save, how to budget. So when I became a professional and I started making money, I learned how to save. Right. So I mean, there are so many life skills that you're
Mhm.
gonna learn versus when and listen, don't get me wrong, please don't get me wrong. If a shoe company is giving you X amount of money, I mean, take it. You could always go to school. If you're making enough money, you could negotiate where, okay, if I sign with you, you gotta pay for me to go to school for 4 years. Like, make smart decision. So I'm not saying if you are a bright star out there, and a shoe company is saying, hey, I want you as an ambassador, take that, but don't neglect going to school as well, because you can do both. Especially now, it is so easy for you to do both.
Indeed, indeed. Before we go any further, Karen, welcome again, guys. A very interesting discussion here with Kerron Stewart. One of my favorites, one of my many, many favorites. And I just want to say welcome again. I can only see you if you're on YouTube. Come on over. Welcome, Marlene Green. Welcome, Olympian, three-time Olympian Lily Hodges. Welcome,
Mm.
Dorothy Scott, two-time Olympian. 1980, 1984. I see J-Jar and Marlene giving themselves trouble. Just welcome, guys. It is all about Kerron Stewart tonight, a history maker, I call her. She wasn't just an athlete, she was, and she is a history maker, and it is all about her tonight, all about her legacy. So please join us, and also remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm just going to share some of Karen's
Oh,
achievements with you. I do not have enough time tonight to go through everything, but I'm going to tell you about some of it. Okay, she's a graduate of Auburn University. She is the head coach at Spire Institute. 2007, Kerron won. She was the Southeastern Conference runner-up of the year. She was also U.S. Track and Field Cross Country Coaches Association National Runner of the Year. 2007, she was 7 times All American.
oh,
2007 again, she was one of the best athletes in the history of the school, and we're talking about Auburn University. 2007, she was awarded the Honda Sport Award, the national best female collegiate athlete. Wow, Karen, your things up. She is also an Olympian. 2008 Beijing Olympic Games, Karen won silver in the 100 meters and bronze in the 200 meters. And of course, they were going after that record in the 4x1. The London Olympic Games, she won a silver medal again in the 4x100 meter relay. World Championship medalist, gold medal, silver medal, and the works. 2015, she won gold. 2013, she won silver. 2011, she won silver. 2009, she won silver and gold. 2007, she won a silver medal. Who remember Karen on the Osaka 4x1 team? I do. World Junior Champion in Kingston, Jamaica, 2002, gold medalist. And she also won a silver medal in Chile 2000. She's also a world youth medalist in the 100 meters. 2001, she won a silver medal. CAC Junior under 17, she also won gold and bronze for Jamaica. Carissa Games from 2000 to 2003, Kerron won 7 medals at the Carifta level, 4 golds, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. Wow. We're going to stop there for tonight, guys, because there's so much more, but
oh,
we're going to stop there for tonight. Wow, Kerron, you won everything. But let us talk a little bit, Kerron. Let us talk about trials 2008. 2008 100 meter, the Olympic trials. Many of us will never forget. I was there. A stunning lineup in the 100 meters. You, you had Veronica Campbell Brown, you had Aileen Bailey Taylor, you had Sharon Simpson, you had Shelley and Fraser Price, and others. What was the pressure level like for you going into that race? When you look around and saw your neighbors, a matter of fact, Sharon, Aileen, and Veronica, they're coming from the 2004 Olympic Games as gold medalists. Now here you are, as one of the babies in this race. What was the pressure like for you?
So crazy that you mentioned the 2004 Olympics. So I was also there at the 2004 Olympics, but they took me as an alternate. Again, I didn't get to run. And in that moment, again, I promised myself, like, I remember Veronica was talking to me as well. But I wasn't sad because I was like, whoever Jamaica put out there to run and to represent the country is the best for women. But I made a promise to myself again there. Like the next Olympic, there's going to be no choice as to if I run or not. And unless I say I don't want to run, but I'm gonna make sure that I will be on the team and it's not just a relays. I will be running my individual race. So what happened at the trials was no surprise because 2008, when I tell you, I said this to myself every single day after practice. I said, there is no way I am going to train this hard and something good don't happen. So if it doesn't happen this year, they might not see me again running track because when I told you I trained so hard 2008, like I never argue with my coach. I never said this workout is too hard. I show up and he said this is the workout and I'm like, okay, coach. No complaints, no excuse, nothing, because I was a mad woman on a mission. So what happened at the trials probably was a surprise to a lot of people, which it was, but it was no surprise to me or my coach because I was doing some crazy things in practice. So I know I was more than capable to win that race, and I know that anybody who was going to beat me that night, they were going to have to do something special.
Wow, I tell you, I was in the grandstand and I could not watch the start of that race. I was under pressure. I'm in the stand, I'm in the stands and I was under pressure because when I look, you were there, Aileen was there, Veronica was there, Sharon was there, and then
Too many
Shelly,
favorites,
and
right?
then
Too many
Shelly, and
favorites.
too many of my favorites were too many of my favorites were in the same race, and I'm like, I cannot look, and I turned my head away. When the starter said, "On your mark," I turned away, and when the gun fired, I turned back, and the stadium was in a frenzy. But after the race, the entire stadium went quiet,
Yeah, and I
and
mean,
you
I
know why?
understand. Yeah, I understood. I mean, with the legacy that Veronica had and
Yes.
how well she represented the country, of course, I get it. I understand completely. But that was a change of guard for Jamaican athletics, and boy, we took off, and I mean, we just make our mark even bigger and bolder. And now look at us, we are one of the powerhouse.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Kerron, Beijing was off the chart. That 122, which we will talk about, but 2009 World Championship was also epic. The women's 100 meters.
Epic indeed.
Kerron, you ran 10.75. one of the fastest times not to win the 100 meter. Shelley and
Mhm.
Fraser Price ran 10.73. You were finishing like a running train without brakes. Where, Karen, tell us a little bit about that top end speed. Where that speed comes from in the middle of the race to the end of the race. I mean, you were like, as I said, a train without brakes.
So I'm a very technical person, and I am a student of the sport. When I tell you I was in high school, I was studying, I was breaking down things. In college, I that's the same thing. I was just a student. And for me, like, the race is not over, so I still have a chance. Even if you're 30 meters ahead of me, as long as you haven't crossed that finishing line yet, I believe I had a chance. And that was what I felt. I was like, I can catch her. I can catch her. That's all I kept saying throughout the entire race. Once I pick up my head and I saw that yellow all the way on the track, I was like, I can catch her. So I think that's kind of where my 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 top end speed, because sometimes I am truly not conscious of the first 30 meters. It's almost like I am in a chill zone, and then something go off and I'm like, hey, you're in a race, like, let's get going. But I was so confident in my top end speed, like, it I didn't panic. Even if you get a 5 meter, 10 meter, I just didn't panic. And I think that was one of the good thing that helped me to be successful, is because I never panic in a race. If you get out ahead of me, so what? If I get out ahead, come catch me if you can. But I never panic. And a lot of athletes, when they're in a pressure situation, they panic and they everything gets tight. I was the opposite. Like, I love it's crazy. I just love that type of pressure. The hotter the race, the bigger the crowd. That's my thing. I come alive. Like, there is truly no pressure for me at the line. And sometimes I'm like, I'm too relaxed at the starting line. Like, way too relaxed sometimes at the starting line, because I that pressure just don't get to me. Yes, there is nerves, there is butterfly, but it's more like, let's get this race started. It's not like, okay, I'm afraid of the crowd. I crumble under pressure. No, the bigger the crowd, if something is on the line, you best believe I'm gonna show up.
You created history. You're a history maker. And going back to Beijing, Jamaica is the only country in the history of the Olympic Games to sweep the 100 meters for women. Jamaica is the only country in the history of the Olympic Games to sweep the podium, male or female, in a 1-2-2. Kerron, you were left in the blocks. Again, I was watching. You were left in the blocks. Shelly was gone. Sharon was gone.
Everybody was.
Everybody is Mona Lee.
I was
Everybody.
I was watching the race just like
You,
you.
yeah, you were. Karen, explain your emotions when you saw the result that Jamaica created history, not just getting the 3 medals, but in the way that we did it, 1-2-2. That has never happened.
So at first, I thought they were gonna call back the race, so it wasn't like 100% push. But then I looked up and I saw like a yellow light. That's Shelly going down the track, and I was like, okay, this race is not. They're not calling this race back. And I was like, again, like, something just clicked. Like, you got to go. Like, she's down the track, but they're not at the finishing line yet. So you still have a chance. And I was just running for my life. When I crossed the line, I didn't know the results. I genuinely didn't know the results. All I saw on the screen was amazing. And I was like, in my head, I was like, what is amazing about this? Because I didn't win. So what is amazing about this? And then I saw, well, of course, they knew who won. They put up Shelly. And then they took forever to put up who came, well, we were looking for who came second and third, because I think nobody was thinking about second and second, right? And it took a while. So while they took a while to put up the results, all we were seeing on the screen was amazing. And so what was a bitter moment just become sweet, because I'm like, I will always be written in the history books, because I'm yet to see that replicate where we have, yes, we sweep the podium, but not 1-2-2. And then, US was like, okay, so where's the third medal? And of course, we're in China, and China is like, we're handing out 3 medals, and that's 1-2-2. We're not handing out 4 medals here, only 3. So, and I am happy that I was a part of that, because even though I wanted to win, something greater happened. And this is when, God is like, okay, you want something, but I'm going to give you something bigger. Because people might forget who win the Olympics. Like, if you think about who won the 1988 Olympics, 1984 Olympics, a lot of people probably can't remember. But every time people see me, that is all they can recall. It's like, I have done nothing else. But that, they remember, and it's a lasting memory for a lot of people, including myself. So that was a bittersweet moment, but more sweeter than bitter.
Indeed, indeed. You said it well, Kerron, and amazing is the word to describe that, because I've never seen anything like that. And as I said before, we who were at home watching, you were left in the blocks, but let me tell you, that train was coming. And Hubert Lawrence said it best. Hubert Lawrence said Kerron was coming like a train. I learned so much from that man. I used so many of his expressions. That was how Hubert Lawrence described it, and he was right. You were coming like a train. But just to go back to something that you said about America wanted the bronze medal, I have a problem with that too. Because I'm saying, if you're supposed to be handing out gold, silver, and bronze, if two people tie for the silver, why not? There should be a third place,
Yeah,
because
I mean, if I was in third, I would have won that bronze too.
yeah.
So
So
I
what do you
completely
do with the
understand.
third place?
I
What do you do with the third place? Are you telling me that there's no third place in that race?
completely.
Because the results said 1-2-2. Even during the medal presentation, there was nobody on the third slot. You and Sharon had to share the silver medal second.
China does their own thing, and they were adamant that they are handing out only 3 medals.
I
Do
don't
I
know.
I don't agree with them, but that's what
I
that's.
think if you have a tie in a result, the next person, if okay, so what if two people tie for bronze? What are you going to do? You're still going to be giving out 4 medals.
Oh, absolutely.
So I kind of think it's a little crazy that if someone ties for second, there's no bronze medal. I don't know why, but what was the mood like when you went back to the village? When the three of you went back to the village, to the Jamaican team, the camp. What was it like? What was the celebration like?
I
What was
think
the
the,
vibe
the
like?
mood the mood was the same throughout the whole Olympics. I think that the 2008 Olympics was one that the team was the closest. The chemistry was there, and I think once we drove into the Olympic Village, the stage was just set for greatness. To be honest, so is that feeling of I'm here to do something great. It just stayed with us. So the mood was good. But I think when we got back home, like we truly understood the impact of what we did in Beijing.
Yeah, Beijing was epic. I've never seen anything like that for us. Beijing was epic, and it was just medals. Jamaica was just winning medals after medals, and Usain Bolt, Veronica retaining her title in the 200 in style, Melaine Walker in the 400-meter hurdles. She was just having the time of her life. Sharika Williams, so many.
It was just is like both got it started, and it was just a domino effect after that. Like it was like nonstop. But crazy thing, 2007. um and this, I take note of things like this, and I pay keen attention to things that happen in the sport while people is only focusing on certain things. And I remember I heard the Jamaican national anthem once at the 2007 World Championships once, and that was from I think Veronica.
Veronica's 100
Veronica.
meter, yeah.
Once I heard our national anthem, and then when we fast forward to 2008, I heard the national anthem so many times,
So many times.
so many times. It was just a different vibe from 2007 to 2008, and it was just upward and onward for Jamaica.
Indeed, indeed. Beijing was just epic. It was, and it's like Beijing. We had the perfect team. The team was perfect. The team did everything right, and it was just awesome. But let me ask you one little thing about Beijing. There was a heartbreak.
Absolutely.
There was a heartbreak. There was a heartbreak. We had a super team for the 4x100-meter relay. It was from Sharon to you to Veronica to Shelly. That would have been, no, it was from Shelly
Shirley to Sharon,
to
me
Sharon to
to
you to
Veronica.
Veronica. Right, right. And that was a super team. We were looking for a world record. But
We all were.
something something happened. Take us through it a little bit. I am telling people that, do you use the long zone for relays, the 30
Yeah.
meter zone?
Well, back then, we had the small triangle, and then the
Hmm.
acceleration zone, and then the exchange zone. But now they're using the full 30 meters.
30 meters,
'Cause
yes.
before we couldn't take the stick until we get into the 20-meter exchange zone, but now they have 30 meters to collect the stick. But yes, that moment was heartbreaking. It is one of my hardest moments in my career. It was tough. Mentally, it was tough for me, and yeah, my heart broke in a million pieces that night, because we were so ready to do something so great that night. I think we would have still had the world record if we
Hmm.
could have executed that race. But to place no blame, I took full responsibility for that, and in the sense that, one, I didn't speak up, and two, I should have trusted my gut. But um, again, I could see where Jamaica still makes some of those mistakes,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think when we were one, we didn't run a lot. Anyways, we didn't do a lot of button passes, which I get too, because we all have to focus on our individual races. So trying to put button pass in was always difficult, and the possibility of getting hurt while doing button pass too is high, right? Because no, this person is running out too fast. I could run in their back. They could run in my back. So everybody is kind of on edge when it comes on to doing relays. But again, and I stand by this. I think coaches need to be more gutsy when they are making these decisions as to who is to run, and to make sure that they put people at the right legs so the team can be successful, and not, okay, this person have to run this leg or this person can't run that leg. um, yeah, I don't go for those things, because I believe that you are a professional, and there is no way that you should be saying as a professional, I can only run this leg. No. What I would want to hear you say as an athlete and as a professional is, I believe this leg suits me best, right? I can live with that, but it can't say I cannot take a button in my left hand or I cannot take a button in my right hand. Well, if I am the coach, okay, I'm going to be very polite, but you will not be on the team, since that's your options, because you are a professional. So it shouldn't be, I can't. It should be, this is what I think is best, or this leg is what I think is best for me to be on. Like, I could run any leg and I get it. Some people prefer the baton to take the stick in their left hand or their right hand. I get it. I was flexible enough and mature enough to can take whatever leg they asked me to run. I was always able to do whichever leg and be successful at it. But at the end of the day, even as a professional, as an adult, if the coach asked me to run the first leg, sure, let's go. Second leg, sure, let's go. Third leg, sure, let's go. Ankle leg, sure, let's go. The only time I would be like, okay, I don't think this is the best leg for me, but it is not my final decision. If I say, coach, the third leg is not the best leg for me, and he say, Kerron, you're running the third leg, hey, let's go. I'm a professional. Let's go.
I I have nothing to add because you said it perfectly, and this has always been my argument too. We are making we. I remember in 2022 World Championship in Eugene, I was there. Jamaica swept the podium and lost the relay, and the Americans, they said it. It's not about having the fastest woman in the world.
It really is not about
That was
speed.
what they throw back at us. They defeated us and then they throw that back at us. And it is true. It is not about, but as you said before, is placing people where they are fit, finding the right fit for each leg. And I think that's something we are still struggling to this day. But before we go any further, welcome each and everyone. Thank you for being here, hanging out with us. We have so many people in the chat. J Jar is there, Marlene Green, Dorothy Scott is there, Raquel in South Africa. Welcome, welcome, Raquel in South Africa. Welcome. She said Karen is a humble athlete. I totally agree with you. Marlene Green is saying, congratulations, Karen. Thank you for representing the black, green, and gold. Congratulations on all your achievements.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Indeed. Raquel in South Africa, she's also saying, fully decorated. Totally agree with you. JJR is saying, delight to walk the same path with you, Stewie. Okay, so her nickname is Stewie, guys. JJR is saying it is indeed a pleasure walking the same path with you, and you've always been an inspiration,
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you.
Welcome, Raman Stewart. Welcome. Monica Lewis is saying, Karen, thank you for how you represented Jamaica. A job well done. I have enjoyed watching you compete over the years. Congrats to the highest power. I love you. Roman is saying, good night also. Ethylene Tate, another Olympia, 1980s Olympian, is also here in the building.
Salute.
Vinny Carnegie Davis is saying, thank you, speak it. Thank you, Karen, speak it. And Nick, Heart of Love, is also here saying hello. And they agree with you. Karen, you could not say it better as it relates to, relay and being a professional and turning up for your team when your team needs you. But Karen, I've never heard injuries associated to you. How have you been able? I know you talk about twisting your leg, your ankle when you were doing it, but As a senior, I've never heard that you're out because of injuries. How were you able to prevent injuries, especially during championship year? What was your secret?
Honestly, there's no secret. When I tell you I was disciplined, I truly disciplined, both on and off the track. And that's where a lot of athletes fall short. Like they work so hard on the track, but there is the majority of the work takes place when you leave that track. And no credit to myself alone. I had great people to work with. I passed through some of the best masseurs, some of the best PTs. I had really, really great people in my corner. And of course, I had a praying mother, so that helped a lot. But when I say I was a student of the sport, I mean every essence of that. When I got hurt, I try to study. I figure out stuff. I try to learn the body. I start studying anatomy, and I didn't like biology, but I was fascinated with how the muscle work, how the muscle connect. If my hamstring is hurting me, I know it's not. Where does it stem from? So I was always curious, and I studied. So that's why when I was hurt, I was not out for long, because one, I had good people working with, but I also studied. I pay attention to my body. I listen to my body. I trust my body. When my body says something, I listen. I don't second guess because I know I'm a hard worker. So when I show up at practice and I'm like, Coach, something hurts, he listens and he knows that if I say something hurt, like if I tell you, it is already really bad. So for me to tell you, it is really bad. But I've torn hamstrings before. Um, Achilles, I've torn my Achilles. I've torn my quad twice.
Wow.
But I've never had to go under the knife. I've never had surgery. Thank God for that. But I really take care of my body. Like, a lot of people spend money on shoes and handbag and that stuff. I spend money on going to the masseuse. I used to get massage twice per week, see the chiropractor regularly. So I keep up with my body. Like, I knew I have a Ferrari, so I wasn't putting in any type of old thing in my body. I was
Woo!
taking care of my body. Um, I wouldn't say on the nutrition part. I wouldn't say I was the best at that, but I try to take care of my body. I try to eat as healthy as I could. But I truly take care of my body and I rest. Anybody who knows me know that we are not gonna go partying. I'm not gonna just go hang out and chill and sit on my hamstring all night. Nope. When practice was over, I go home. Like I didn't have a life. I was boring. My life centered around that. Like if we weren't doing something positive, count me out. It wasn't me. It was very easy for me to say no. You want to go hang out? No. You want to go to the party? Nope. Plus, I made my home comfortable where if we need to hang out, if there's a social, come to my house. I have space. We were comfortable, so I didn't do too much of the partying lifestyle and all of that stuff. No, I took care of my body, and that's why I had longevity in the sport because I really took care of my body.
Wow, Karen, I'm going to put an idea to you, but afterwards, let us talk about mental preparation. Mental preparation has become a big part of life these days. It is a big part of preparing
Mental
athletes.
health.
Yeah, mental health is a big deal. Was it a big deal for you when you were competing? Did you pay attention to it any at all?
Um, not in the sense of how athletes are now taking care of their mental health. I took care of my body. I took care of my safe space a lot, but I didn't go get help. Like I didn't go speak to a therapist. And I wish I did, because obviously that could only help you. It's not. I don't believe it's gonna harm you. But I had a relationship with God, and I had good people around me, good genuine people around me. I had a lot of acquaintances. Like a lot of people know me, I know a lot of people, but my circle was very, very, very small, and they would encourage me. They understood, allowing me the space to have peace. So they didn't bring chaos. They brought peace. I truly got support from my circle. But I encourage athletes, go get help, because track and field is a lot. It is a tough sport. It is hard. It is very demanding. It requires a lot of sacrifice. When I tell you, I have missed so much birthdays. I think during my career, my mom got more flowers, more birthday gifts than my presents, because I was always somewhere competing, somewhere training, and in different states, different country. My nieces and nephews, I miss a lot, but that was all a part of the sacrifice. And the people who were close to me understood that they had to share Quran with the world. It wasn't always fair, but they had to share me with the world. And I think the person who had to share me the most with the world is my mom. My parents, like they really had to share me with the world the most. um, but yeah, it's hard. It is really hard. And it was hard for me, but it was harder for some other athletes, because they didn't have the financial support like I did. I straight out of college, I was signed with Nike. I had a 7-year contract with Nike. Some athletes, they're in their 7th year and still don't have a contract. And track and field is expensive. It is so expensive to be at the top, to achieve all the things that I have achieved. Like it took a lot of support. It took a lot of people sacrificing too. It took my coach sacrificing. It took my mom sacrificing, parents sacrificing. It took a lot of sacrifice on a lot of people's part. It's not just me. So I am successful genuinely because of the people that I had around me. Like I remember going to high school, I had friends who would share their lunch money with me. They would share their lunch with me. College is the same thing. I had friends who look out for me. Like if I didn't have, they would share with me. And I'm like, those are people who are still my close friends. They are still people who I I call on in this moment where it is still that support. So I can only attribute all of my success to the great people who are around me and been supporting me and still is supporting me.
Wow, what a story, guys. Kerron Stewart, Olympian Kerron Stewart. Raquel in South Africa is saying she not walking the mall. Kerron not doing.
No, I
Kerron not walking
not
in the
not at all.
mood. You're not walking to any mall. No fraternity parties. Come on, Kerron. College. You have to do. You have to do some of those things.
Don't get me wrong.
You
I
have
did.
practice.
I did, but I knew my limit. Like my first year in college, oh, I went to the parties. I did it all. Like I went to the parties and I was out there. And thank God Instagram wasn't around back then. Um, but I did. But it comes a point in your life where I had to say,
Yeah.
I will always have time to party. But this, plus, I was not gonna go back to go live with my mom. No offense. I was like, you gotta
Mom,
figure
are
your
you
life out.
watching? Is mom watching?
You got to figure your life out. my mom gave me the ultimatum too. She was like, you are going to college or else you can't stay in my house. So she can't say anything about that. So for sure. But I had to make a choice. I genuinely fall in love with being successful and living my God-given talent more than I enjoy partying.
Indeed, indeed. And your mother, she did her part. She said it's time to go. You need to go
Yep.
and figure
It,
it out now.
yeah,
And
it,
it worked. It worked for you.
it did. It did. It absolutely did, because why she said that, I remember my high school coach, he was coaching at GC Foster, and he presented the idea I could go to GC Foster. But my mom was like, I am making this decision for you. Like, you are going to school. And I get it. I truly get it, because she was like, you're getting a full scholarship there. If you stay here, you're still going to be my responsibility. Right? When, no,
Mom wants you
you're
out.
19. Yeah. She was like, you're 19. Now I have raised you well. Now it's time for you to fly. She was not with that at all. She was like, hey, you have this talent, you get this opportunity, um, been praying for this, you get it, now you gotta go live it. And I am
Wow. We
happy.
need to
I'm
salute.
so
We
happy.
need to salute your mom. Where is she? Is she watching? Mom, if you're watching, mom of Kerron Stewart, if you're watching, you did an amazing job. Of course, Track Diamond is saying, Kerron, love you, love you, love you. Yes, Track Diamond is a very big fan of yours. Marlene is saying, when I listen to Kerron, I see humility. Yes, she is very humble, guys. One of the most humble person that I have met. And Winnie Carnegie Davis is saying,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
guys.
me.
Oh, that's your mom. Okay, guys, let us welcome Karen's mom. Winnie Carnegie Davis is the mother of Kerron Stewart. Mom, you have done an outstanding job. Your daughter, she has been a professional from. I used to watch you compete, Karen, and I'm like, man, why Karen have to be so mature and business-like? But awesome, awesome. Your mom is saying, I did say go, and if you don't like it, then you can always come back.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part.
So mom, she liked it. So she's not coming back, but awesome, wonderful. And support like this is you can tell when you see the success of some of our athletes, you can tell that the support starts at home. Good night, Davian Clark, my good friend, another Olympian, and he said, Karen, landlord is here. I don't know what that means. Davian is saying landlord is here, but welcome, welcome, guys. But Karen, retirement. I hear a lot of people saying, retirement is hard and it's tough. When did you know it was time to give up the sport that I love so much and I'm doing so well? Because as far as I'm concerned, you retired when you were still on a high.
uh,
When did you know it was time?
um,
What was the trigger?
I was empty. That was it for me. I was
Karen,
empty.
you were winning. You were creating history.
No, I was done. You see, when you said all those things that I have accomplished, I accomplished so much in, say, 5 years in the college, because I went 2 years at Essex, 3 years at Auburn. So I did a lot within that time, right? And then I had an 11-year professional career. So I was empty. Plus, I knew that my purpose was not track and field, was not to be an athlete, right? But God gave me this talent, and I had to use it, because my passion, and I believe what I am doing now as a coach, as a mentor, that is a part of my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. So it got to the point where God's voice was now getting very loud, and I could ignore it no more. And then I said, okay, God, you have given me enough time. You have given me 11 years. as a professional to do this, and now I have to honor my purpose. I have to honor my commitment to you. And now I'm like, okay, I am going to walk away from the sport and now answer the calling, take up the mantle and push forward. And I never felt like I gave up track and field because I'm still a part of it. I'm still building the next generations to come. So I never felt like I gave up the sport. And I know even to this day, like my kids, like they are the biggest motivation. Every time I do a drill, I demonstrate something. They see me lifting in the weight room. They're cheering, "Coach, you need to come back." And I'm like, "No, I'm done." So even when I retired and people are like, "You need to come back," there is nothing in me. There is no urge. There is nothing that wants to come back. And I remember when I was coaching in Finland, they did a meet. They were like, "Just come and run." They paid me, and I did it, and I was like, "No, it is done. I am truly emptied. Like that part of my gift, I have emptied it out. Like I didn't waste any time. Like when I became a professional, I didn't waste any time. I hit the ground running, and I just accomplished as much as I could. So when it was time for me to hang it up, it was it was hard in the sense that because I love the sport so much, it was truly hard for me to walk away. But once I walked away, it was no, people were like, "Oh, she's gonna come back." I'm like, "No, I
Do
was."
you miss competing?
Yes, that's what I miss. I truly miss competing. Um, Sometimes when I even see my kids competing, I'm like, I miss that. I think it's more of the adrenaline, just me being competitive because I am probably one of the most competitive person on this planet. I could compete at anything. Like you could be walking somewhere and I'm walking behind you and I'm trying to beat you. That's just how competitive I am. But yes, I truly miss competing. The training, absolutely not. I don't miss that
But you
part.
can't have one without the other.
Exactly. So hence I have to dismiss myself from the
Let
sport.
us welcome Daniel England to the party. Daniel England is here. And thank you very much, Daniel. He's saying, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. This interview is just, I could sit here and talk to Kerron all night, but Diamond just got ahead of me with my next question. She's asking why Spire Institute. So let us talk a little bit about coaching. How did you get into coaching?
Um, my whole coaching career is literally a leap of faith, and as I said, my purpose. Because truly, there are some days when I have to go in a quiet space and say, "God, is this truly what you want me to do?" And then I am like, "Okay, God, I know this is what you want me to do." But me ending up here at Spire is all God. Because I remember before I took the job here, I went to coach in um, Iowa, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Like I was driving to the interview, and I was like, "God, this can't be it. This can't be where you want me to go." And I remember vividly he saying, like, because other opportunities came and it was better. It was in sunshine, no snow. And he was like, "No, this is not the one for you. Go here." And I went back and forth with him, and I was like, "God, this can't be it." And I remember he said, "Remember you said anywhere and I will go." Right. And I was like, "Okay, next time I'm going to be very, very specific with you,
Specific.
God. Very specific." So I learned that you need to be specific with God. But I remember him saying this, "Kerron, if you take this job, you're gonna be surprised. Like you're never gonna have to search for any job again." And I was like, "All right, you know what, God, I surrender." And I went there and tell you, it was not a fun time. It was absolutely not a fun time for me because I have never felt so alone and so far away. Like, I mean, it's still in the US, but I just felt like I was on a different, in a different country, on a different planet. And I remember when this position came, I didn't even know it was open. I wasn't looking for any job. God just know that I was unhappy because I let him know on a regular basis that I was not happy where I was. And I remember the director reached out to me, and I saw the message and I didn't respond. 2 weeks time, 2 weeks later, I remember like I was sitting in my office and the Holy Spirit said, respond to him. And I was like, why? I'm going from one cold state to the next. And he was like, respond. And I respond to the guy, and I had he set up another call with the CEO, and literally we spoke for 15 minutes on the phone. The next day they said the job is yours. And that's why I'm like, if I'm trusting God. Like, a lot of people saying, why are you coaching high school? And I'm like, ask God. A lot of colleges reach out and God is like, no, not yet. And I'm like, can't explain it either, but God say not yet. So I'm trusting him. So
Wow.
that's how I end up at Spire.
And you're loving it. I follow you on social media and I get the impression that you're enjoying it.
No, I truly love coaching. I really love what I do, and I know not a lot of people can say they love their job, and I don't really see it as a job. I truly love it. It's a headache. I could tell you that it's a headache. It's hard, it's messy, it's chaotic, but I truly love coaching because when you see the impact that you have, when you see these kids, their lives change, you see them move on to being better human beings. It is so rewarding and fulfilling. But I truly love what I do.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Good night again, guys. People are still rolling in. Josiah, good night to you. Daniel England is here. Of course, Raquel in South Africa is saying it's the Jago competitive spirit.
Absolutely.
Olympian Lily,
Absolutely.
Olympian Lily Hodges, a three-time Olympian, she's saying a great story indeed, very inspiring. Congratulations on your achievement. And of course, Track Diamond is saying, I would love to see someone like you take up a woman to at the at the J3A. Woo! I love that. I love that, Track Diamond. You're a troublemaker. Would you apply for that job though,
What
Karen?
what
President
job?
of our federation.
Not yet. Not yet. I think I like to be honest with myself. When you're not ready for something, you're just not ready. Even if people would love to see you in that position, if I'm not ready, I wouldn't take it up because I know the passion that I have for track. I know the passion that I have for our athletics, our athletes. So if I can't take on that role and do the utmost best, I will not take on that position. But is it possibly that it could happen one day? Absolutely. But as for right now, I don't believe I am ready for that, for those
And
responsibilities.
and that's fair, very fair and very honest. Ethelyn Tate is saying, congratulations, Miss Stewart. Indeed, she has accomplished a whole lot, guys. A whole lot. Some of it I did not even mention. Too much to mention. But Karen, a lot of us we retire and we have no plan. I get the impression that you had a plan. Did you have a plan?
I didn't have a plan. There was only one plan. I wanted to coach. That was the only plan I had. But I could have done retirement better. I could have made more connections. I could have reached out to more people. I could have asked former, athletes who have retired, like what was the process like, what they did, and I think that is not talked about a lot, because when I first retired, it was hard. It was really hard, because I mean, it took me, I would say, a year and a half. No, took me almost 2 years to start coaching when I retire. Yeah, I went to Finland for like 6 months to coach, but to truly get into track and field and coaching at the college level or even the high school level, it took a lot. And I could remember a lot of people saying, "Hey, when you retire, you're definitely gonna get a job because one, you're a female, all your experience and all that you have accomplished." But none of that helped, because in this at this level in this sport is, somebody have to know you. Your resume could look as good as you want it to look.
True.
They're still gonna say, "Hey, you don't have the experience," even though I have over 18 years of experience, and I think would do a better job than.
Kerron,
Um,
we might have to start our own thing.
but it is hard. It
I
is
know.
really hard. And um, one thing I can commend the U.S. Federation for is, like, they help the athletes. I mean, I see a lot of athletes now, they're into journalism.
Mhm.
They allow some of the athletes to be a part of the federation and play an important part, being the voice for the athletes. Like, they help. Our federation, I don't think we do a good job in helping our athletes. And I think some of the athletes too, they are so scarred, they're so hurt, that they have no interest. And if I'm being honest, they're like, there is no change. Me as an individual can't make a change when the system just seems like it's an old boy um, fraternity.
All
And
boys club, yeah.
please, none of y'all don't come for me, and if y'all do, I really don't care. But
It's
again,
true.
I'm not trying to bash my federation at all, because if I am bashing them, I'm bashing myself as well, because I am not a part of the federation, so I can't bash them or say anything bad about them, because I am not um, m- being a part of it to try to make a change. Either way, I'm an outsider looking in and saying, I wish these changes would be made. But when I believe, when the time is right, and if I need to be a part of it, God will make the room for me, if the room is not being made, because that's the type of God I serve.
Yeah.
But yeah, and truly, I believe we can do better as a federation. Even when you look at the Olympic trials, I was watching the Olympic trials, and it was just like a regular development meet. When you look at how well organized boys and girls camp is, the support that they get, and you have our professionals, our Olympians running, and it's like just another track meet. They finish the race, not even a flowers, not even when you look at how the U.S. Championships is done. Um, and again, I think the J3 need help. I mean, they do need help. We definitely need a marketing team with helping to put together a nice display, a nice presentation for the Olympic trials, the World Championship trials. I think we can do better, because the athletes deserve that. Not like they are asking for a lot, because we already don't get a lot of support. So I think that is the least. And I get it. The our federation is not rich. So the big companies in Jamaica can help as well. But again, if we don't have a marketing strategy and people who are going to these companies and saying, "Hey, um, how can you support our country, because it's not just the athletes, but it's how can we support Jamaica.
I totally agree with you again, Karen. You're hitting all the right nerve, and the thing is that we have to get a little bit more creative as a federation. As you said, when I look at the trials where all our top athletes are in one space, the same space for a weekend, it, as you said, it just looked like
It's the
another
person. It's not,
develop. Yeah,
let's call it what it is. It's the person.
yeah,
It's
there's no energy. There's nothing. There's not even for the fans. You know,
and then we're saying why the fans are not coming out. Remember, um, this is an entertainment sport.
mhm.
So if the crowd or the fans are not being entertained, I mean, you can't really blame them, right? Because they're spending their money, and when they spend their money, they want to be entertained. I know some athletes might not like that, but it is the truth.
It is. Oh my. Sometimes I don't even know what to say. As a fan myself, sometimes when I go to, and I was watching the Grand Slam over the weekend, and let me tell you, I wasn't bored for a minute because it was just action after action. And even though it is just a handful of races, but how it was, how they put it together. And when nothing was happening on the pitch, they went back to their commentators, and of course, they were telling us little stories about other athletes, other countries. Sasania and her two co-hosts, they were just educating and entertaining us until they were ready to go back. And when I look at how the stadium was transformed, I mean, we don't have to do all of that,
All of that, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
but we can do a little more. When you have a national championship and it is a championship year, let us let us treat the athletes a little better coming to the finish line in the finals. Give them a flowers, give them a plaque to say, okay, you've made the team, or you're going to Paris, or I mean, I've seen other country. I remember I was watching the U.S. trials last year for the Olympics, and each person that makes the team, they sign their name on that dummy Eiffel Tower that they had that go.
No thought go into, and I know like Jamaicans are so creative. We are the most brilliant, intelligent people on this planet. So I know like we have some of the best marketing people in the world, and I might be biased, but I stand by that. So I know this can look good. Like even when you see the US trials, you after their races, you see they have a whole ice bath set up. They have recovery for them. In Jamaica, it's like the athletes have to do every single thing on their own. So when you see athletes are not showing up and they're not doing certain things, it's like they're tired. It's almost like you're trying to uplift your country and you're just being sucked. Everything is just being sucked out of you. Like you're just being wrung dry.
Totally agree with you. You've been there. You've represented the country over. A matter of fact, you've represented the country at every level. Did you know that?
Yes.
Did you did you know that you've represented the country at every level,
Yep.
starting from the Caribbean?
Except for world indoor, but yeah,
Yeah, every level.
I
Yeah,
have gotten medal on every level except for world indoor.
right. So you know, and you know, I hope the powers that be there listening because they do watch a show sometimes. But we really need to do more for our ambassadors, our athletes, and we just need to do a little. Just be creative. All we have to do is to be creative. But when you were competing, you competed in an era where you were able to earn a living. As you said, you had a 7-year deal with Nike, which was absolutely brilliant. You know, congrats on that. But nowadays, I mean, we see the NIL deals going around, even the baby in basic
Oh
school.
boy.
Even the baby
Where
too.
was NIL in 2006? Where 2007? Where was that? um, I mean, I could do well with even Grand Slam. Like I could do absolutely well with Grand Slam because I mean, a lot of these athletes are gonna make the money that they make at this one meet. You know how many races it took for some of us to make that, and didn't even make it.
Yeah.
Right. So I listen, I applaud Michael Johnson. I
Yes.
truly applaud it. And not just the money aspect of it, but also we're gonna see more competitiveness. Like when I for years, like Daniel, like people just realized that Daniel could sprint. Daniel is actually a very good sprinter. I'm like
Listen, when
when I see her technique in the 100, I'm like, this girl is hands
listen,
down, like she could really sprint. Like I hope Jamaica is taking notes because she could run on the 4x1.
listen, when she blew out those blocks,
It's a
because to be honest with you, I when I look at the race, somebody asked me who you think will win the 100 meters, and I said to them, Akira Nugent might get the edge over Daniel because she ran it at
she
track
has
and
speed.
stuff.
Yeah, she
Right,
has.
and she has very good speed. But when I saw Danielle, I mean, there was no catching her.
Her mechanics is good. She's always been a good sprinter, and that's what I love about the slam because you're gonna see some athletes who you never thought of could do other events because
Yes,
Daniel couldn't call London Diamond League and say, "Hey, I want to run the 100." No, we have too many people in front of you for that. You don't have any
mhm.
medals. You haven't run anything. So this is it's gonna be so good because athletes are going to get to do other events. Like how many other hurdlers out there who is really good at the 400-meter hurdles too, but they just stick to the sprint because that's where they're making their money. But Daniel would never have thought that I could run the 100-meter on that stage and make money. Like it's this, this
I
is
love I
a
love
big,
the I
big
love
move.
the Grand Slam, and I
Yep.
tell my friends that I really like it. And one of the biggest takeaway for me, or the biggest thing that I like about it, it gives athletes an opportunity to try other events, explore other events. Because
Showcase.
when I saw Gabby Thomas in that 400 meters holding off Paulina, I was like, what is happening here? When I saw Daniel in the sprints, I was like, okay. When I saw the Santos in the 400 flat, I was like, wow, we have some talented people around here. So that was what I like about it. It gives athletes an opportunity to explore other events because many times we see athletes stay in their pet events, don't
Mhm.
do well in it, and age fade them out of the sport. So
But,
this
yeah,
year, yeah,
it's gonna because I couldn't show up in I mean maybe I couldn't show up in a 400 and say, hey, I want to run the 400 when people are like, we don't know you for the 400. You're getting paid for the one and the two. So now it makes it so much easier for the athletes to be versatile, right? Where
exactly.
only a few athletes could show their versatility. Like I mean, if you are the few gifted ones like the Allisons and the Sanya Richards and no, I mean, of course, Sydney, because she's on a different planet from
Mhm.
everybody else. But I mean, only a handful could show their versatility. Not the other athletes where I mean, so many athletes are versatile in different events,
Yes,
but because
that's
of
true.
the
Yeah.
box that we put the track athletes in, and then we wonder, oh, the sport is dying and the sport is boring
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
because people who can't run are making the decisions
Yeah.
and they don't have that passion for the sport, so they just do whatever they feel like.
And one of the things that I like too is that a lot of the athletes that we saw at the first staging of the Grand Slam, it wasn't just all top athletes. It was a mixture of what you would call the A team, the B team, C teams. So unlike other events where you will see only the top people in the event running and getting money, at least at this level, because even if you finish last in your group,
You get.
you got some money.
Mhm.
Money was awarded $10,000 even if you finish. Can you imagine you finish last in an event and you still end up with $10,000?
That's amazing because I could be wrong, but if you finish last in a Diamond League race, listen, I don't know how much of that money that you're gonna get because the
Yeah.
agent got to get his percentage too. They're taking tax out of it. And I mean, can you imagine you pay $2,000 for a ticket to go all the way to Rome, and then you go to Rome, you come eighth place in that race, you're making what, $500, $600? You ain't even making back your plane ticket. So you're losing money.
Yeah, after you pay all your expenses, you're like, okay, so this is what is happening here. But before we go any further, Davian is asking, Karen, you coming for the track reunion April 26th?
What track reunion? That's the first time
I
I.
think it's at maybe at Auburn. I don't know if it's at Auburn, but so many messages here. Let me see if I can read.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, Davian, you need to get Karen some information. Sudan Davis is saying, well said, Karen. Marlene Green is saying, talk truth, Karen. Speak your mind. They need to hear the truth. J Jar is saying, okay, that's not for us. Track Diamond is saying, as I said before, Track Diamond is a she's a big fan of yours. She said, if I love you one more time, Karen, you just verbalize what we diehard fans have been saying. And she's right, because sometimes we have conversation off air and we would talk about the same thing over and over. We need to revamp as a country, as a federation. There's help out there, but I don't know. Nobody is listening to us. Davian is saying D2 champion in the 100 and 100-meter hurdles. I think he's talking about Daniel, Miss Daniel. Davian is also saying Latina, Elba, and Bonnet ran Jamaica at the first World Champs at the 4x1. And all three of them are Auburn. Go Auburn.
Where are
Manifa
you
White.
going?
Manifa White is saying amazing, and of course the conversation continues, and Auburn getting a lot of big up in the building. But Karen, with everything, there are challenges. What are some of the challenges? Because you're listening to you, your career seems as if it was perfect, everything, all the chips fall at the right places. But were there any challenges? Were some of the challenges, and how were you able to overcome to become so successful?
Um, I think, I mean, the challenges, of course, is mainly like injuries, overcoming the injuries. But I, I always try not to dwell on the negative things because, like I said, if I am not going to make a change, or if I'm not speaking up about it, I am not getting involved. It's just like if you don't vote, like, what are you complaining about? Right? If you don't vote, you don't put yourself in the position to let your voice be heard. So what are you going to complain about? If there was things unfair, I said what I need to say, and my mom always tell me, um, because I can be just blunt and straightforward at times, but I always speak the truth, not necessarily my truth, but what is true and what is right. But yes, there are challenges. I mean, I had my fair share of challenges, but like I said, I got support, so that helped me a lot. So I mean, it's no need for me to go on about what wasn't fair and what's not right with the sport. And yes, there are changes and all of that stuff that I would like to see. Um, yes, there are athletes who there were things that wasn't fair or right about the sport. We try to speak up about it, but again, nothing happens. It's not like the NBA when they say, "Hey, we're having a lockout because until we come to this agreement, nobody is playing basketball." Track and field ain't like that. If Karen have a disagreement with somebody, we're like, "Hey, I don't like how the Diamond League run the meet, or the five like when they are saying, oh, if you come eighth place, your pay is $500." Like the insult, like how is that right? Like, and I mean, if I have a problem with that and I'm like, okay, I'm not running at this meet because this is not fair, guess what, there will be somebody else in my lane.
True. True.
The athletes are not gonna say, hey, all right, we have this, this is not fair, we don't like this. We're not gonna come together and say, hey, we're just gonna boycott this meet. We're not running until we're. When you think about, we do everything. We don't have no health insurance. Everything you gotta come out of pocket
You're
for.
on your own.
You're on your own, right? You have on if you run for Nike or you run for Puma, when you go to the Diamond Leagues, if the Nike is sign is too big, you have to cover it up. I mean, soccer, they could have as much things display on their jersey. Track, we can't do that, right?
Nobody's lobbying for the athletes.
So
No representation. Raquel in South Africa is saying Grand Slam is a game changer. I totally agree with you. But guys, now Karen and I we're going to play a little game, and if you guys want to play, you can play. So Karen, it's a two-part game. The
oh boy.
first part is you're going to tell me something about you, and I'm going to tell you something about you, and then
Mm.
the next part is I'm going to say two things, and you choose the one that you fancy more. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go.
Right.
So I will start to
Mhm.
tell you something about you, and then you tell me something about you. So my thing is you hold one of the fastest non-winning times for the women's 100 meter that was achieved 2009 that did not win gold.
Mm. Okay. Something about me. Um, I have a diploma in carpentry. Not a lot of people know that. Like, yes, I'm pretty good with my hands. I like to make things. I like to challenge myself to do things that I'm not formally taught. So yes, I
You
that's
hear
something
that, guys?
not a lot of
She
people know.
she has a diploma in carpentry. She can make stuff. She can build houses. Oh,
I want to say that I want to go that I can contribute to building a house.
that's awesome, Karen. You are so accomplished. That's just amazing. I'm inspired. That's amazing. Okay, my next thing about Karen is that her birthday will be April 16th. So, guys, please start showing her some love now for her birthday. Her birthday will be next week, Wednesday. Your time again.
Oh. Uh, okay, so whenever I tell people this, they always say, "You're not a true Jamaican. I don't eat ackee."
Karen, we're going to dismiss you from the show now.
See, I know I would get that.
Karen, you
You're
don't eat
not.
ackee? Seriously?
No.
You're not a true Jamaican. We need your passport right now.
I want to say I blame my mom for that because
Your
I
mother didn't give you
she
ackee and
she
sausage as a
love no, she loves it. So I think when she was pregnant with me, she eat too much. I mean, I literally it can't even come close to my face. Like I don't know. I just can't.
wow.
I get sick. Just the sight of ackee made me sick.
Wow, I hardly come across a Jamaican that doesn't eat ackee. Hardly. This one is no. This one is Track Diamond said no, not the ackee. Of
No,
course,
I'm
Danielle
sorry,
is.
Fat
They're
Diamond.
all laughing at you, Karen. You're not a Jamaican, Karen. No, where's your mother? Mrs. Davis, where are you? But as David said, Aki is very dangerous, and that's true. I don't eat the tin Aki. If I'm in Jamaica, I'll eat Aki, but no. Yeah, so I do understand. So the next thing I know, I will tell you about you, Karen, is you have a personal best of 10.75 in the 100 meters and a personal best of 21.99 seconds in the 200 meters that you achieved 2008. Am I correct again?
Yes.
Oh, I'm on a roll. It's your time.
uh,
Okay, guys. Well, Karen, think about what you want to tell me about her. They're wishing you happy birthday. Daniel is saying happy birthday. Davian is saying happy
early. Okay.
birthday. Jean is saying
Thank
happy
you. Thank
birthday.
you.
They're all wishing you a happy birthday. Go ahead, Karen.
Um. hmm.
Please don't say you don't eat breadfruit.
No, I do. I do. Um. I can't swim.
You can't swim. Okay. Well, that's fine.
I guess I could do enough to save my life, but not to help
That,
anybody else.
that
So
means you can't swim,
y'all
Karen.
and don't look to me at all.
People will ask me, how come you're from Jamaica and you can't swim? I'm like,
I was busy running.
I was busy running, indeed. The next thing I know about Karen that a lot of you don't know, Karen won bronze. Listen to this, guys. Karen won a bronze medal in the 300-meter hurdles at the Carifta Games in the under 17 category. Now, Karen, let us talk about this because I don't know you as any hurdler. So, how you won bronze medal at the Carifta Games?
Uh, um, so
Tell me just 30 seconds of that. How did
Coach
you?
Graham is a hurdles coach. Like he's a really good hurdles coach, and he believe I think every athlete from San Diego tried the hurdles, and I don't know. He was just persistent, even though I couldn't hurdle. I was just running and jumping. There was no hurdling. There was just running and jumping. That's it. And then he finally got the picture. Like hurdling is not for me.
Wow. Wow. Your turn to tell me something now, and then I have some.
Um, I love sneakers. Like I am a big Jordan fan. Like yeah, I am a
What
shoe.
size you wear? Let me see if any of them can fit me. Size 8?
I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
a
guys,
big.
she loves sneakers. The next thing I'm going to share with you about Karen is that Karen is a certified strength and conditioning coach, and she's also a personal trainer and a nutrition specialist. Wow. Is there anything you have not accomplished?
Yeah,
That's
there
amazing.
is still a whole lot.
That is amazing. Your time to go again, and then I have one more, and then we go to the other game.
Um, one thing
While Karen think about what she wants to share, Jar is saying, before that, Track Diamond is saying, yes, under Casey Graham, she had to. Jar is saying, so true. He had me try the hurdles, and because I'm a crazy person, he just run me away. so, so big up to Coach Graham.
I I love photography. Like I'm a huge fan of photography, and I do some photography too.
Okay, awesome. And the last thing that I will share about Karen in this category is that she ran on the 4x4 team for her college team, Auburn University. Am I correct again?
Yes.
Yay! So I got 100%. Awesome, 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 guys. Davian is saying Karen was a part of the 2006 Auburn. Okay, the same thing I just said. I just said it. See, my audience, they know their thing, so I have to ensure that I'm on top of it because Davian actually said the same thing I just said, that you were a part of that champion team for Auburn University, 4x4. Every Jamaican athlete that I talk to that attends college overseas will tell you that they have to run the 4x4. Or when you're a sprinter, it doesn't matter. You have to run
Yeah,
the
yeah.
4x4. All right, Karen, the next section now.
Um,
I'm going.
I don't think a lot of people know this unless you're really close to me. But I like another accident. Like I walked through a glass door and I got 39 stitches.
You walked through a glass door,
Yeah,
Karen?
yeah.
Have you ever? I don't want to laugh, Karen, but forgive me.
It is fine.
Karen, have you seen the ad with the birds? The
Um,
birds where they
it
fly into
it
the glass?
wasn't it wasn't like it wasn't that clear. It was a dark stairway, and instead of going through the open door, I went to the
Oh
part
wow!
that was closed. And I wasn't the only athlete at that meet that I know a girl broke her nose, and somebody else. It was just mine was just the worst.
Oh wow! How long ago was this?
It was actually my first senior team, so it was senior Pan Am Games. So I made the team. I
2006.
did. So that took me out of the Pan Am Games, and I also had made the World Championship team as well, but I couldn't go because of the accident.
That would have been 2005.
Yes, that I think that World Championship was in Helsinki. So
Helsinki.
I was a part
Finland.
of that team as well. So I made the World Championship team when I was in high school. But
Oh wow!
yeah, so see, I have some adversities.
Yeah.
It's just not. I just didn't talk about all the
And I'm
adversity.
glad I'm glad that you talk about it over here. And this is what we do. We want to hear the stories, and we want to cry with you if we have to cry. We want to laugh with you. We want to share. We want to know a little bit about you, and thanks for sharing that. Of course, Davian Clark is saying in Finland. Davian was on so many teams that it is just amazing. He's saying shattered to first, Karen. So that was your shoulder that got cut, where you got the stitches?
Shoulder, above my knee and my shins, and my shin was completely like
Wow.
the scars are still on my shin and above my knee and my shoulder.
Oh wow. We didn't even hear anything about that. I never read anything, nothing. Wow. Gosh. And of course you overcame and you became world champion, Olympian, created history for Jamaica over and over. Just amazing, amazing. All right,
Yeah,
the second part of our game
yeah.
now is I am going to say two things and you pick one. Pick the one that you like more, the one you fancy more and stuff. Okay, here we go. 100-meter or 4x1 relay?
100 meters.
Movies or series?
Hmm. Movies.
Beach or pool?
That's a hard one. I chose
That's a
both.
hard one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Champs or NC's championship?
Champs.
Seriously, Carol, champs?
Champs. Yeah, champs.
I know
Champs.
there's something about champs.
Yeah.
High jump or long jump?
That's a tough one. Because high jump is one of my favorite events to watch. So I say high jump.
High jump.
Sorry, Giovanni.
Sorry, Giovanni.
Yeah.
Sorry, J Jar. Snake or rat?
Repeat that.
Snake or rat?
Neither.
You already have to pick one. That's the rule.
Uh-uh. I will not be picking one.
Snake or rat?
Nope.
All right.
Neither.
Because you don't want to pick any of those. Here, this one now.
Neither.
Justin Gatlin or Noah Lyles?
Justin.
Poetry or art?
Oh gosh. Both.
No,
I
Kara. No.
I
Kara,
am
you
a
have to
I can't
Karen,
I
you have to
honestly
pick
can't
one.
choose. No, I can't.
No, means you have to
I
pick one.
love art
Poetry
and
or
I love
art?
poetry.
I would have the same problem too because I'm a big fan of
Yes,
the art. So
I must say art because
art.
I really love art. I say art.
Okay. Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna,
Second leg or the anchor leg?
second.
Summer or winter training?
Summer, winter training hard.
St. Jago or Camperdown?
Is that a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Saint Jago, of course. What's
St. Jago,
Camperdown?
St. Jago or Bear?
Oh, this must be a trick question.
St. Jago or
There's
Bear?
only one high school. That's Saint Jago. What's that other school?
Listen, I don't want you to upset the Veer people. A lot of Veer
Oh, sorry to all my beer, my beer people, my
people
beer
right now,
fans.
the Veer people will get out at you, at J Jar. But that was awesome though. Tori Bowie or Carmelita Jetta?
Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Whoa, that's
Boom. You have to choose
I
one.
think I run with Carmelita more, so I would say Carmelita. But I really love and respect Tori. I really do.
Sydney McLaughlin or Melaine Walker?
Oh, that's not Melanie, but I have so much respect for Sydney. Like, yeah, she is definitely one of my favorite athletes, hands down. But Melanie,
Indeed, indeed. Carl Lewis or Maurice Green?
Maurice,
Otto Bolden or Frankie Frederick?
Frankie Fredericks, absolutely. I love Otto too, but
Yeah,
Frankie Fredericks, hands down. Yeah.
yeah, Frankie is a nice guy. What's the other one now? 400 or the 1500?
400, of course. What's that? What's
Why?
15?
What's wrong with the 1500, Karen?
Mentally, I don't have the mental capacity for cross the finishing line more than one time.
Spanish Town or Monk Street?
Same place, but Monk Street. Monk Street. Yeah,
Guys,
Monk Street for sure. We can't bypass Spanish Town, but Monk Street, yeah.
Karen, it was a pleasure. It was indeed a pleasure. You are really a team player, and
Thank you.
it was really a pleasure having you, talking to you. A very interesting story. I love your story, and of course, you had your mother, your parents. They were there from John Mills to St. Jago to Essex to Auburn to Olympian. Awesome, awesome, awesome. To Spire Institute. Now, Karen, I'm going to put me in the hot seat. So I'm giving you an opportunity to ask me one question before we wrap up. So while Karen think about her question, guys, thank you very much for being here. It was indeed a pleasure. Of course, everybody, the St. Jago people, they're saying St. Jago all the way. Davian is saying Spanish Town all the way. Marjorie Paul is saying, love watching Karen back in the days. Indeed, indeed. She was really one of them that I enjoyed watching myself. She was like a moving train without brakes, without any brakes. She was just outstanding. And
No speed limit.
Track Diamond is saying, Karen, thanks for your service. Indeed, thank you for. And guys, remember to wish her happy birthday. Her birthday will be on the 16th of April. So, Karen, I want to wish you happy birthday when it comes, even though I'm going to wish you again. But but happy birthday. So it's your turn to ask me just one.
Okay. Why journalism and why track? And just the way how you interview, the way how you interact with the athletes, just the way how you try to preserve the legacy of track and field. Why you have that approach? Because most journalists they're rootless. So
Yeah, you're right. When I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, and when I was doing that degree, I my major was track and field. I wanted to do everything track and field, and I did track in my earlier days. Of course, I was supposed to attend St. Jago, but my father wasn't as nice as your mom. My father said no because of where I was living. So I did not get to live. All right, guys, Kerron having some technical problems. Hopefully she will rejoin. But guys, thank you for coming. Hopefully Kerron will rejoin us and I can finish answering her question on camera. Of course, she's asking why, why I'm like this with the athletes and all of that. I'm one of those people who I lobby for the athletes. I love the athletes. I love what they have done for our country. So I would say I'm one of those people who, is in their corner. I would love to see us treating them better, give them more. And Karen did ask why I do it the way I do it instead of bashing and tearing down. I I it was very strategic when I was going to do this podcast. I said I wanted to do something different from what everybody else was doing. I did not want to just be somebody who comments on a race that just ran. I wanted to have a little bit more substance. And I said I want to concentrate on the legacy and share the legacy because a lot of people are not aware of Jamaica rich track and field legacy. And of course, that was why I decided, okay, Karen, guys, let us reconnect her. Okay, here you are, Karen. So I was just answering your question. You asked why I do it the way I do it, and I'm not bashing the athletes and stuff. I respect and I appreciate what you guys have done for the sport. And I too wanted to do what people like you have done. It was my dream, but of course, I wasn't making the decisions for myself when I was much younger. So I did not get an opportunity. And when I was doing this podcast, I said I wanted to do something different from what everybody else was doing. I did not want to come and bash or just to report on a race that a million people reporting on. I wanted a little bit more substance. And then I said I wanted to bring the legacy to our audience, to our people, and I wanted them to hear it from the people who have done it. Hence, it is what it is now. And I have to thank you guys. Publicly on record to say that I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to come, share your story so that it can inspire others and also that we can tell you guys publicly thank you for your service and what you have done for us. So this that I'm doing is for the athletes. It's for people to know who you guys are, to put a story to a name and people to know some of the setbacks you've had, some of the challenges, some have more than some kind of thing. So that was really why I decided to do it to celebrate. This is my way of celebrating our athletes.
okay, good, good. Well, we appreciate you because a lot of the athletes, they retire or they're still in the sport but are not doing as well as people expected, and people are wondering, okay, where are these people now? I mean, if it wasn't for you, we probably wouldn't be doing this interview now. So a lot of people wouldn't know some of the stuff that they now know about me. So I applaud you on the way how you try to protect the sport and protect the athletes as well, and just highlight things that is not brought to the forefront. Those conversations that need to be had are no, we're having them, And now we it's both sides that is seeing, because sometimes the fans have one um, information about things, we have one. So sometimes just to bridge that gap, it's important. So again, I appreciate you and what you're doing for the sport and the athletes.
Thank you very much. And I do appreciate you guys wholly and solely, and for taking the time out to just come and just to let us in a little bit into your life, what it was like, how you enjoyed it, your low moments, your high moments, and all of that. And as Diamond said, and everybody have been saying, congrats on your achievement, and also to thank your mother for bringing you here and sharing you with us. And you have done awesomely well for Jamaica. You are a history maker, because that run 2008, I don't know if we will ever see that 1-2-2 again. And that was, you did that because, as I said before, Sharon and Shelly, and they were gone. Sharon was in lane one, I think.
Yeah.
And Sharon blazed out them blocks like a bullet, and she was behind Shelly, and you came from out of nowhere and created history. Nobody saw that coming. None of us saw that coming. So you're a history maker. You're one of them that is in the history book, and you have been cemented there, because we have repeated the sweep of the podium, but it was in a different format. It was 1-2-3, in Tokyo. So we've done it twice. No other country in the history of the
Three
Olympics.
times.
There you go. And we did it at the World Championship.
We did it 2012 with the
Right.
guys.
Right, with the guys. So we are a small country, and we're just a handful of athletes. When you compare our team to other countries, we are just in one part of the sport. We are in the sprint, and now, of course, we're spreading our wings
All
in the
over.
field.
Yep.
So we are doing great things, and you guys must be, rewarded, celebrated. And that was why I came up with this channel, to celebrate you guys and hope that others will join the party to celebrate our athletes. And with that said, thank you guys very much. And before you go, Karen, just in wrapping up, I just want you to leave a word of encouragement to athletes who are out there that might be struggling. They have not yet gotten a breakthrough. They're trying very hard. They don't have the support a certain way. Just talk to them a little bit and just wrap up.
Uh, um, I'm gonna say this, and this is something that I always say to my athletes. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what you're facing, what the circumstances is. You have to keep reminding yourself that your talent haven't left you. It's still there. So if you get hurt, if you're not running as well as you should, your talent is still there. It hasn't left you. Never forget that. Your talent is still there. And this is for anybody at all. It doesn't matter what you're facing. It doesn't matter how much your back is against the wall. It doesn't matter how many business plan have failed. Your talent is still inside of you. Like God give you that. You didn't lose it when you lost that job. You didn't lose it when you get that injury. It's there. Just keep trusting that. And as my mother always tell me, what is yours can never be somebody else. And God tells us that if you don't do what he calls you to do, he's going to find somebody else to do it. But whatever he calls you to do is for you to do.
Indeed, indeed. With that said, thank you very much for being here, Karen. You have been an inspiration. And again, thank you for contributing to Jamaica's rich track and field legacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you
Absolutely.
guys for tuning in, for listening. And as she said, share and like. And also, I'm wearing bowl. lip gloss, so make Bowl lipstick. So make sure y'all check out Bowl Cosmetics on Amazon. So it's a local Jamaican. She's local. She's from Jamaica. So check it out, support, and support your own.
Indeed, indeed. Well, well said. Thank you very much for being here, Kerron.
Good night, and thanks again.
Okay, thanks. And there we have it, guys. One of my favorites, one of my many, many favorites. I have a lot of favorites, and of course, Kerron is one of them. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. All the Olympians, I saw you. I saw Dorothy. I saw Lily Hodges. I saw Andrea Bliss, Davian Clark, Jay Jar, Josiah. Mrs. Davis, Track Diamond. Dorothy Scott said it was a wonderful interview of a very talented athlete, but I didn't miss that. Okay, Miss Dorothy is talking about Veer. Of course, the Veer is St. Jago. Veer and St. Jago, they have a love-hate relationship. Of course, they are rivals especially at the high school level. Trap Diamond is saying HP is all about building, lifting, and preserving the legacy. Yes, that is what I do. That is my mission. That is my vision. That is my aim. That is my objective. And Raquel in South Africa, of course, she had a good time. Thank you for being here also. Raquel from South Africa, thank you. Clay is saying, big up the greatest host. Thank you very much for that, Clay. And he's saying, big up Miss Stewart. And he's saying, well done and enough love. Thank you guys for being here. Join me next week when we will be here to do it all over again. And guys, enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend. And be kind to someone. Be kind to someone. Be kind with your words. Be kind with your actions. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a good night, guys. Peace.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple, to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica.